Welcome back to Beautiful Work, Beautiful Life. You're here with Laurel Holland. I'm a life coach. My partner in crime here on the podcast, Laurel Boyven, is off this week, and I am going to be bringing in Pia Leichter. She is a creative, genius, I guess. I'm just going to call her that, okay? Because I can tell by all the things I've seen and read about her and her lifestyle that she is one creative gal. So, we're going to have a great conversation today about creativity and supporting you and learning how to be your most creative self. We're going to probably have lots of ideas and strategies for you. We'll see how that conversation goes. But what I really wanted to do too was share with you a quote from Pia's book, which is the thing that once I read that, I knew I have to talk to this woman and I really want to bring her voice to Beautiful Work, Beautiful Life. So here's Pia's quote. I learned inner shifts create outer transformation because once you've changed, everything changes. And the most creative act is designing your life experience. So, you know how I feel about this inner work, everybody. It creates big inner transformation. And once you change, everything changes. So let's hear from Pia. Let's really find out about her story, about what her beautiful life looks like, about her creative genius that she is, and about how she can help you become your most creative self. Okay, let's bring Pia in. Pia, I'm so glad you're here on Beautiful Work, Beautiful Life. I've been so excited to have this conversation with you. I was just telling our folks when I introduced you that I've been thinking about our conversation ever since we had it in May. So I'm like, can't wait to get you on here and have your voice come through our podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I've been thinking about that conversation too, and I'm so glad to be here with you today.
I know. So since Pia and I last talked, she's been to Bali, right?
Yes.
And that was your birthday gift to yourself. So talk about, we're going to hear and talk about, I really want to focus on creativity because I know that you've got a lot to share and I want people to hear it from your voice because it's so powerful. So tell us a little bit about that trip and why Bali, blah, blah, blah. Give us the feel. Yeah.
Here's the fun part. This is also part of creativity.
Yeah.
We get to create experiences for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what experience do we want to create? What do we want to create in life? And so for me, it was like turning 50 is a big deal. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm alive. I'm grateful, but it's also like, oh my God, I'm 50.
It's a bit of a milestone.
Right? And I thought, okay, how do I want to really welcome this new decade in? Yeah. What do I really want? Yeah. And the answer was sort of like peace and adventure and exploration and like discovery and also time and space to kind of be alone.
Yeah. Do you, so are you comfortable with being alone? Because I think that's one of the struggles with many women because we're so relationship oriented and that kind of can interrupt actually our creative process if we're too focused on the other, right? So yeah, how did you come to your comfort of being alone and doing a trip like that?
Oh, I think it's been a long time coming. It's so interesting. Wow, this is a longer answer, but I think it's, and you're right about creativity. When I've been focused too much on the external, whether a relationship or work or whatever, my creativity has suffered. Yeah. Because I'm not creating enough space for myself, for my ideas, even for my desires. Like what do I desire to create? So that's a definite and kind of not really talked about creativity blocker is this focus on the external and not going internal. Right? Because creativity can be a solo affair it's solo and it's not. It's both collaborative, but it's also can be a co-creation between you and yourself and the universe, as well as with other people eventually, right?
Yeah.
So alone. It's funny. I grew up with separated parents when I was 3. I'm an only child. I moved around all the time. I'm a recovering nomad. And so I think I have been learning to be alone for a long time. But when I was younger, it never really felt lonely until I reflected on it because it was just what I knew. Do you know what I mean? And then I remember talking about it with my therapist and she's like, that sounds lonely, like moving all the time, being on your own, having to figure it out. My mom being, fiercely independent, wanting me to be that way, and also working a lot and all of the things. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that was, but it didn't really feel that way at the time. It just felt like that's what life was.
Yeah.
And then I left home early as well. And I kind of entered the world of relationships and the other, in and out. And when I kind of got lost in those things and got lost in the world and the adventure of being alive and through myself externally, because that was also what I learned how to do, moving all the time. You just adapt to your environments and you figure it out. And I was very externally focused. And then I think it was just part of a process of coming home and getting older. I don't know how many perks there are, but one huge perk of getting older to me is coming home, like being more comfortable in the skin you're in, having less fucks in the bank. If you need to edit that out, you can. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
The best way. And I think I've been coming home for quite a while after my difficult divorce, unhealthy rebound, and then just taking a year to be on my own place and to rediscover what that meant for me as a woman in her 40s. Like, what does that mean? And to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But
great.
of course, it was uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable at first, but like the more time you spend with yourself, the more I bet you'll come to realize what great company you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's that getting comfortable, right? With the aloneness and the solitude with self. That really is the trick. Yeah.
And I've been becoming more and more comfortable
Yeah.
with it. And actually, I've been luxuriating in my own company more and more. Meditation has helped a lot with that because it's about sitting with myself, journaling. I mean, there's so many different practices and they're going to look different to everyone.
Yeah.
But I think coming home to yourself is also a key component of a creative life.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things we like to ask our guests is, invite our guests to tell us about your beautiful life. Like, what makes your life beautiful to you? Because we always feel like everybody's example of what your own beautiful life looks like is another example of how it's different for everybody. So will you tell us a little bit about what makes your life beautiful? Yeah.
Well, I'm alive. No, seriously, as a starting point, it's like just to be really grateful that I woke up in the morning. I do remind myself of that when I'm like sitting like, oh, I made it today. This is great. Like I'm actually alive and I get to be in this human skin and experience everything that looks like, relishing a good meal and breathing air and moving my body and feeling weird emotions and growth and discomfort and joy. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing to have the gift of this life.
Wow. I can't. So nobody's ever said that. And what comes in so powerfully for me is it's almost as if you're in honor of and devoted to just the reality of being a human in a body on the earth.
Yeah. And also being connected to spirit and the mystery.
Yeah.
Because I believe we're more than that. Like that is like our expression right now. This is how we get to play. This is how the universe gets to experience itself. And this is how we get to play and to be and to experience and how wild it is. And I'm not always in this perspective because I'm human and I go down.
Some days are tough. That's just reality. Yeah.
It is what it is. It's not an everyday, thing, but it's something I bring myself back to. Like just the glory and the beauty and the pain and the mess and the ridiculousness sometimes of being alive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on like a planet that's spinning 1,000 miles per hour on its axis in one of like 200 billion galaxies. Like sometimes when I zoom out, I feel this strange kind of wobble within of like, what is going on? like this is some weird shit. Like this is great, but this is some out otherworldly stuff. And it's
Yeah.
easy to forget that.
Yeah.
You just kind of get caught in the details and the what am I going to make for dinner, and oh, how did that person speak to me, and oh, what am I going to do? And there's nothing wrong with all that. That's also a part of it, but it's just to remember to also zoom out. And I think that can add an element of silliness and play, because it is kind of silly. Like
Yeah.
this theater of the absurd that we're living in.
I know, and I honestly, so
Like,
we gather here at in my yard for monthly fires, and that's the time that I remember when I'm out there with women and we're looking out at the stars and we're calling in the directions and we're doing the things right. Like I just remember, oh my God, I'm just this tiny little speck of the universe, right? Of this particular universe, because there's so many more. And you're like,
yeah.
wow. And we take so much stuff so seriously. It's a great way, like you said, to like put it in a different perspective for a moment or two. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could attend your
Oh,
fires.
I wish you could too.
Oh, that
Love to
sounds
have your
so
presence in the
great.
circle. Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
Okay,
I mean,
Pia.
that's a returning.
Yes. Yeah, go.
No, I was just gonna say that's also a returning, like home to self as well, and to the self that is capital S self. That is you, and bigger than the skin you're in.
Yeah.
And there's something really wondrous about being reminded of the mystery,
Yeah.
and that it's unfolding constantly.
Constantly. And to feel it's like a time too for me too to remember like this planet is always keeping me alive by what it's giving me, right? And we forget that. We just forget that so easily and so readily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that we are, of the earth.
Yeah.
We are a
Yeah.
part of nature.
Yeah.
With all of its cycles and its seasons and its moods and its flavors, and it's something that we can forget, that we're earthlings. There's a
Yeah.
reason there's that word, right? We don't use it very often except in sci-fi, but we are actually earthlings. We are of the earth.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Pia, I quoted from your book when I did my introduction for you, and I'm going to say it again because I can't say it enough to everybody who listens to us, because I think it was the one thing that when I read it, I was like, oh, she's my gal. She's my in my club, right? It's like, so Pia's book is Welcome to the Creative Club. And right at the beginning, she says, I learned inner shifts create outer transformation, because once you've changed, everything changes. And the most creative act is designing your life experience. So I want to ask you if you would be willing to share just a little bit of some of the inner work that surfaced for you so that you could clearly make that statement that that inner transformation creates outer transformation. Because I feel like that's what we're here trying to talk about all the time on the show. It's like, can't say it enough, right? Do your inner work. Yeah.
Well, I think before diving into the specifics, I think inner work to me is very much connected to awareness, to self-awareness.
Yeah.
So being aware of what motivates us to do the things that we do, to make the choices that we make, and what is driving our behavior.
Yeah.
Usually a belief, a script, or a story that we've either inherited or created at a young age that's kind of playing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least it was for me.
Yeah. Agreed.
So you, on another podcast, I love you mentioned the concept of universal nudges. Is that what you call
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I call them quantum flirts.
Love that term too.
So y'all have y'all different terms. I got I don't know if it was a nudge. I got a universal shove that
Yeah.
that helped kind of activate awareness for me, I guess. When I went through I don't know if anyone goes through it, a smooth divorce. Maybe Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know. Not me. I had a very unconscious uncoupling in many ways. And it was messy and it was rough. And instead of sitting with it and dealing with my emotions and looking at what was going on, and there was a voice inside me that said, Pia, you need time alone. You need to really sit with this. And another part of me was too scared. So I jumped into an unhealthy rebound. So I was scared of being alone and sitting with those big emotions. And like, do I want a family? Can I even have kids? Am I meant for, a monogamous relationship? Like, all of these questions, like,
Yeah.
what does a life look like to me? And I just didn't have the courage at the time to sit with it. So I avoided it. Also by starting a studio, building a creative studio with two other partners, which needless to say is a lot of work. So I was able to pour myself into that, working slack in the evenings, this work and feeling, because society says, oh, look, she's being productive. She's successful.
This is
So
what I'm
feeling
supposed to do.
right?
Yeah.
Like gold stars for the avoidance, gold stars for, whatever. So it kind of felt like I was doing something right or good, even though deep inside I knew that there was a reckoning coming. And that reckoning was me, the universe helping me out. I got fired from that six-figure cushy job. And I remember just having to stop, because you get fired, I'm not going to work anymore. Right? So I literally had to stop and look at my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I looked around and honestly, everything felt wrong. I felt like I was in the wrong place, wrong relationship, wrong job. Am I even supposed to be in? I'm still in Copenhagen, but at the time supposed to be here. What do I even want from life? What's going on? Like, one of those serious, like,
Yeah. Look in the mirror moments, huh? Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
call
or
it.
look at the
Yeah.
shards of my life on the floor, 52 pickup that felt like my life at the time. And what am I going, where do I go from here? And there was that scared part of me that was like, well, you better look for a job quickly because you're on a work visa and you might lose it. And then maybe you should double down in this relationship, like all the things, right? And then
Yeah.
there
All the
was
should. Yeah.
all the shoulds,
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. Sure.
That's what had brought me to where I was too. And there was another voice that was more of a felt sense that said, honey, you have to do something different.
Wow.
It's time to break pattern. You got to do something different. So what do you want to do? And I always wanted to take the Trans-Siberian Express. This was before the war and before all of this.
Yeah.
It was a bucket list dream. It was a desire. It felt like an adventure. And I really felt a pull. It was almost like I didn't have a choice in a good way. Like there was something in me that was like, that's what we're doing. And I went to the Russian embassy and got a visa, the Chinese embassy. Like there are some hoops to like jump to do that. As an American as well, let me just tell you, getting a Russian visa was not
Not a piece of cake.
not a piece of cake. But I found my way. I did it. And I went on the Trans-Siberian for 4 weeks by myself.
Wow.
Actually interesting, back to Bali and alone, right? So these things are all connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really on that trip, I had, the universe reminded me of two important things, and I had one big epiphany. The important reminder was, of course, I'm going to be okay on my own. I grew up in New York City in the 80s and 90s, you know what I mean? And I know how to not only take care of myself, but I also know how to be alone, and I'm going to be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And the second one was, my God, look how beautiful and amazing the world is. How much adventure and experience is at your fingertips when you open to it, when you remember it's there. It's not like I created it. Like the Gobi Desert and the stars and shining above it have always been there, but I allowed myself to experience it. I didn't let fear stop me. And I met the most amazing people and really like from yurts in Mongolia to very interesting hotels in Beijing to just like a load of experiences. And the epiphany I had when I was sitting in the train, Siberian landscape hurtling like out the window.
Amazing.
And I sat back and I stared at the Russian guy in a wife beater cradling a bottle of vodka, for some reason banging the steel car door, and then the smell of sauerkraut and body odor in the air. And I just remember sitting back looking at this scene going, hey, wait a minute. I created this. I made this happen.
Yeah.
I brought myself here. I made this. We're talking like set design, costume design, location scouting, main character energy, the cast, all of it. And that switched a flip for me from, hey, I'm not just a creative director at work. Like I'm creatively directing my life.
That's the epiphany.
That
Because
was
it's
the
an
epiphany.
epiphany.
That was the epiphany. That
Yeah,
was like,
because from that moment on, everything's different, right? Like, wait a
everything's
minute.
different.
Yeah, I'm creating this.
It
Yeah.
was like the metaphor of a train. You know, when a train goes on a new set of tracks,
Yeah.
and
Right. Right.
you like, and you, yeah, you feel the,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like that's how I felt in that moment. Things didn't change in a heartbeat, but the change, the transformation had begun with awareness.
Yeah.
It was awareness, and just sharing this with the audience, people who are listening. You don't have to be a creative director to creatively direct your life, right? Like if you're a human, you're a natural born creative.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things, I think, for so many people to remember, right? And I know for me, just being, groomed in the American school system, public school system, because I wasn't good at art and I wasn't good at music, big air quotes, I'm not creative.
Yeah.
And that's so sad, right?
It is. We equate, or society has come to equate creativity solely with artistic expression.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's one form of creativity, but it's not the only one. Creativity lives in virtually every domain.
Yeah, 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 and it's in every choice that you make. I love that too because
Absolutely.
you talk about that in the book as well, right? It's like every choice that we're making is a creative choice of expression, isn't it? Yeah,
Absolutely. And how we creatively respond to life is an ongoing creative process.
yeah,
Life presents you with circumstances or challenges. You get to choose. How do I want to creatively respond to this one? Right? Like we are in constant creative response with life. It can just be easy to forget. I forgot for a long time.
yeah, yeah,
I felt like life was something that was happening to me. Right?
yeah,
And I forgot that I was also happening to life.
yeah, yeah. I always feel like a sleepwalking is a great metaphor for what many of us do when we get to that point in life where, okay, now it's time to launch you out into the world. Now you got to go do, and then here's the list basically that somehow was created that's inside you now. And now I just have to start doing those things, right? And depending on how mismatched it is, I think the more mismatched it is, the more we go into a deeper sleep, like a trance state, right? Until something wakes us up to, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to call that autopilot as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of where the past is just repeating in the present. It's just playing out again. Like it's the same situations we might find ourselves in with a different backdrop.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's not, to me, that's not a beautiful life.
Yeah, I know.
A beautiful life is
Usually doesn't
creating,
feel like it. Yeah,
no, creating new versions, new moments, new experiences. But that happens also through like awareness of, oh, okay, wait a minute. I've been in this episode before. It looked a little different. Okay, what's going on here?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell me when you're working with people, because you're coaching, you're doing some coaching, yes?
I'm
Yeah.
doing some coaching and creative partnership, both.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about that kind of work and how you're working with people and what you're doing and that kind of stuff. Yeah, so people can have an idea of, is she my person to go reach out to?
Sure. Well, I call what I do creative partnership. And the tools that I use are either I'm a certified coach, so it could be coaching, it could be a mix, and it could be I worked as a creative director, copywriter, creative strategist for almost 2 decades in creative agencies. So whether it's sort of, storytelling or, creative strategy, or really it comes down to expression and like having a partner to help create, whether it's, building a brand or pivoting into a new direction, or it's writing like a new piece of like a creative venture. Could be a book, could be, I've worked with authors, I worked with entrepreneurs, worked with executives and leaders. It's really, I'm a partner in what it is that you might be looking to create, whether it's next or pivot towards you. Like I've worked with people who are at what I call sticky junctures, where it's like what they've been doing for so long and doing quite successfully just isn't doing it for them anymore.
Yeah.
But it can be really scary when you're at that point of letting something die or letting it go to allow the next, what you're meant to birth next or create next, to emerge.
Yeah.
And so sometimes a way that I try to describe my work, but I work with men and women, is a creative midwife.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And
Help
so it
them
really
birth.
depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends where people are on their journeys. And sometimes that might look like, oh, well, I feel a call, but I'm not sure exactly what it looks like. Or I know what I'd want to create, but something's stopping me. Or I'm ready to pivot because I know I'm meant for more and I need a partner to help shape that with me.
Yeah.
So it can take different forms.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's my question for you. Do you think, or tell me a little bit about what are the let's see, what is the best structure in order to bring forth your creative nature? Like, I feel like we are under the illusion, like maybe safety is one of those. Is that
Structure for
true?
creativity.
Yeah, like to bring your creativity forth. If we're talking about like what do you need in order to like allow yourself to step into that space, you know?
Well, the first thing I would say, which a lot of people in the Western world don't like, including myself, because it's hard, because we're trained to do it differently, is to kind of slow down.
Thank you. Thank
Slow
you.
down. Slow
Yeah.
down and just be for a minute, right? Whether
Yeah.
that's taking a walk in nature, whether it's journaling, meditating, whatever it looks like, right? Just taking a nap.
I know. I
Just
know.
allowing yourself to be, because a lot of the times we don't create this space for the ideas to emerge or for us to get clear on what it is that we want to create.
Yeah. Yeah. I have so many goosebumps right now. I'm like, it's just like to me, like, what's she going to say? I'm like, oh my God, slow down. It's like, oh, my whole body just like feels like so in that space with you. And I think it's one of the hardest things for people now, don't you? Don't you feel like the
Definitely.
world is just like pushing us and we keep thinking we're supposed to go faster and do more and do that. And the opposite is really kind of the solution or yeah, yeah.
I have there's a question that popped up in my mind also as I was writing the book that also landed in the book, which is like, what if our creative genius lives on the other side of rest?
Yeah, I know. I know.
I-
Yeah, so many people are overwhelmed, and I feel that. I really feel that because if you're tired or exhausted, right, the first thing
yeah,
your body needs is to rest in order to like even just be present with itself.
yeah. And that's where creativity lives. It's within ourselves. It's
Yeah,
not somewhere out there.
I know.
It's in us. And I believe that not only are we all naturally creative and it's our birthright, but we have all the ideas within. But if we're not prepared to create the space to receive them and to allow them to kind of bubble up, then we're blocking our own creative conduit, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is hard. And I also struggle with it. I mean, again, I grew up in New York City, so I'm also a recovering speed queen. So I have to catch myself. It's a practice, of being like, oh, okay, I'm pushing too hard again.
Yeah.
I need to come take it down a few notches, slow it down, trust. Because what I've discovered is when I'm rushing, I'm in the energy of fear.
Yeah, yeah. And not trusting that things can unfold more gently or more, in a flow state rather than a push
Yeah.
state kind of
When
thing.
I'm slowing down, I'm in the energy of trust, because there's no need for me to speed, because I trust that not only is it coming, but it's also already here. There's nothing for me to get. There's nowhere for me to go. It's all here.
Yeah,
And I'm okay. I'm good. Right? So
yeah,
rushing is a scarcity play to me. It's like, oh, well, there's not enough time. Oh, well, there's not enough, and there's not enough money, or there's just not enough. I'm not enough. It's not enough. There's not enough. I gotta go. I gotta push. And it's a tough one I don't know if it's break or disconnect from, like unplug from, because it's part of our collective consciousness in the West.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Success is defined as the hustle and the grind and blood, sweat, and tears and 24/7. And that's how you win.
Yeah.
And I'm really tired of that fucking story,
Yeah. I know,
because
me
it's
too.
just a story.
Yeah.
And like, I want to create evidence that I succeed, whatever that means. That's another question, what that looks like for me when I move with ease and trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that whatever your success story is, to me, is that's what your beautiful life is, right? Like your real beautiful life feels like when you're living it, success, even if it has nothing to do with how much money you have, or how
Yeah.
many cars you have in the driveway, or how many friends you have, or any of the things. It's like, no, when you feel, right, like this is my beautiful life, that feels like success.
100%.
Yeah.
And asking yourself what success looks and feels like to you again and again, because we're changeable, fluid beings. So it will change,
Yeah.
right? But like,
Yeah.
what is a life well lived
Yeah.
look and feel like to me? And then sitting with that. Sometimes it's fine just to ask the question. You don't even need like just to allow, just to ask the question is already a big shift, if you ask me. And for me, it does look like freedom. And I know that freedom is something that I can only give myself. It's not something external that's going to give it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that's getting in touch with the inner power that you have to recognize that, right? Because freedom's such a great example of, for many of us, right? I want freedom. I want freedom. Well, you're creating that from the inside out. Most people think, no, I have to do this. And that's person telling me that. And that person's restricting this. And the government's telling me that and whatever, right? And in fact, all of those things, wherever you're living, you have some constructs that you're living within, but your freedom comes from in here when you feel free to, like you said, right? Create your experience in the moment. Yeah.
And then you can ask yourself what kind of experience you want to create for yourself.
Yeah. 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 What does your
And
beautiful life look like is kind of the question I ask, right?
yeah.
Yeah, like, what is that? Yeah.
And if I look at it, it's also being able, the receiving has come into
It's so big.
it's come into my field of awareness recently, because if I take a step back and look at it, I am already living my beautiful life. Like, I am free. I am being given what I need, and I'm able to create, and I'm able to design my days, which is something I've always wanted to do. And any constrictions or restrictions that I create, I'm creating them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a matter of receiving that I'm already living that. Can I receive it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that my big, beautiful life will continue to unfold and emerge as I live it. Like, this is one version. And sure, there are many other more expansive versions of it. That's the whole point. That's the beauty of being alive. It's like, okay, this is good. I'm living my beautiful life, but I'm ready for the next version of my, and the
Yeah.
next. I think, as well as being naturally creative, we also have this deep desire and pull to expand and grow.
Yes, yes, yes. And the brain actually is going to produce the right chemicals every time you're finding the next beautiful thing, right? So it's like we will get used to whatever is. We're like, wow, this is so great. But you know what? If this is so great every single day, suddenly it's the same. It's not so great, right? And so we're looking for the next thing. That's the way our brain is wired. So we can't kind of escape that, really, right? Yeah.
And also, it's like down to growth, like what might have felt scary before. And I think fear can also be an indication that we're in the growth zone, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can also, we have to discern, because it could also mean different things, but it can also mean, oh my God, I'm on the precipice of big change.
Yeah.
And there's something very fulfilling about growth. I think that's just growth equals fulfillment.
Yeah.
And so that growth requires discomfort because it's new. And
Yeah.
it's uncertain, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. That comes with the package. And so I think what you're describing as well, at least what I'm hearing, is it's not it's allowing ourselves to continue to grow and to get challenged, in the name of our becoming.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you deal with your fear, Pia, when it comes up? Because I feel like you sound like you push yourself, to live the creative life, to go out there and do things, right? And to trust yourself enough to do the scary things, right? So how have you worked through the fear around that? I think a lot of people, fear stops them.
I have so many answers to this question. I'll give you my latest one and then I'll give you another one, depending on where people are in their journey. My latest one is, man, fear is a tricky bugger because sometimes it hides and it presents itself as logic or other things, or like, oh, this is fine. And just being able to discern that that's fear, especially when it's wearing a different outfit. And it's like, is that
Like a little
fear?
shapeshifter, trickster action there.
Trickster. I don't recognize that. That just sounds like logic to me. Oh no, look a little closer. It's fear underneath that.
Yeah,
For me, that's been the challenge of like, where am I stopping myself? Because there's fear, but it's wearing an outfit of like logic. So I can't.
Practicality.
Yeah.
Common
Right.
sense.
Right. Yeah. All of those
right?
things. So I can't make it out. I can't recognize it. So it's learning how to recognize, where fear is living or stopping me from becoming that next version of myself. But when I first started Collective Studio, fear was very present because it was my first foray into entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is a unknown beast,
It is.
It's like
The big spiritual journey is what I call it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You come face to face with uncertainty. Uncertainty is always there, but when you're in a salaried position or, when we create different types of scaffolding, we can live in the illusion of certainty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And entrepreneurship just takes that and puts it somewhere else. Like all of a sudden there is no scaffolding. You're just staring at it like, shit, this is really uncertain. Like,
I have to do that. I have to figure that out.
And pipeline, what? Money, clients? Ooh, I don't know. Like rent? Oh, this would be nice. Like I don't know, and I had a cushion, so that was good because it doesn't mean we can move with fear and then still create the conditions that enable our courage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so there was some cushion, but I still remember for the first year getting a little, getting anxiety about like, oh my God, like what's going to come next? What's going to happen? What if I don't make it? What if all the what if game, the negative what if game.
Yeah.
And so how did I go through that? The answer is I went through it.
Yeah.
The answer is I trusted. I kept going. Even when fear was loud, it was like, it's okay. Am I okay right now? Yes, I'm okay. Do I have what I need right now? Yes, I have what I need. Okay, well, when that changes, right, then you could look into something else. But for the moment, you're fine. This is okay. You're still okay, right? Like, this is good.
Come back to the moment. Yeah.
Come back to the moment. Come back to present. Be where I am, and then just keep moving with it, keep riding with it, keep learning how to be with it when it appears, sitting with it, having that talk like, where are you? I'm here. What's that like? Oh, here's pretty good. All right, stay here.
Yeah.
Having those pep talks, having those moments. And then a year of that coming sort of in and out, that fear voice, that anxiety got much quieter because I had created evidence that I was going to be okay.
Yeah. 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 And I do think that that's how we trust, right? Is you have to be constantly creating some sort of evidence that you can do it or you've done that step. Okay. Trust that I can get to the next step. So, because I do think self-trust is it's a practice, right? Of, I want this, I'm going to do this. And now I can trust myself now to keep going and do the next thing and the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, it's also trusting life.
I love the phrase that you used. I want to kind of wrap up with this one because I feel like it's very powerful and it really connects to what we're talking about here right now, which is, look, if we're going to build self-trust, right, we actually are and this was the phrase you used, create the conditions to live in our courage, right? To be courageous, create the conditions so we can be courageous. I'm like, wow, that's so much in there because we do need some conditions in order to act on our courage, right? The question is, what are they? So that would be a great question, I think, for people. Maybe a couple journaling questions to leave people with, Pia, around that. I think that's awesome. Like just the
Definitely.
idea of what are the conditions you need? I don't know.
Yeah, what are the conditions that you need for that you, let's see, how would we phrase
Yeah,
that? What are the conditions for your courage to be activated? Or what
yeah,
are the conditions that support your courage or your
yeah,
next courageous decision?
yeah. And
Because usually,
yeah, go.
because I was gonna say, because usually part of like the creative piece is getting really curious about what you want to create next.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And fear usually stops us from answering that question.
yeah,
Like the question would be like, okay, in a year from now, in your wildest imaginings, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? You know, all of it. Get sensory.
yeah,
And then what might create the conditions for you to take courageous action
yeah.
towards that thing that you really want to create?
Yeah. And don't go all the way to the end of the creation. Just start at the beginning. Like, what's the beginning conditions to just take the first step, right? Because I do feel like we can create the conditions for one step. And then if we need to modify those conditions, we could do it for the next step, right? Rather than like the whole thing. I think that we often get caught up in the creative process, right? Going from beginning to end and thinking we have to
True.
get the whole thing out. Yeah.
True. Very good point. And I think using that question of like, if I could create anything, what would I create? Using it not as a plan, but as a means in which to get curious about yourself and what you desire and what
Yeah.
lights you up. You know, what excites you. And you can create 3 different versions of that answer, 5.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's just about getting curious. And then you can say, okay, there's like a red thread between these 3 imagined futures. What is that? Is it, I really want to use my voice more. For example, like if, let's say I want to be on TV or I want to have a podcast, I'm just making up an example, or I see myself doing this. It's like, well, what do those 3 things have in common? Even though they're different, it's you expressing yourself publicly. Okay, so what might be that first step that you could take today of expressing yourself publicly?
Yeah.
And that could be posting something vulnerable on social media. That could be anything. That could be writing your favorite podcast host, Laurel, and asking to be a guest.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It could take so many different forms. It doesn't have to be like, I want to be the next Oprah Winfrey, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's not possible. Of course it is. But before you get there, it's like, what's the first micro step that you can take? And if that feels too scary, what are the conditions that you can create for your courage to emerge?
Yeah, so good. So good. I love that. I just think that's so powerful. I feel like, and again, it comes back to this idea of being the creative force, right? To start creating something. And here you're just creating the conditions. That's all. Like, for some of us, look, we need a little more security than others. Do you need 6 months savings in the bank?
Yeah.
And to like take the next step? Do you need
Yeah.
to, I don't know, have a conversation with your husband that's really clear and open that you've never been able to have before, or your wife?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't know, but you know the conditions, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are they? Yeah.
And creativity is also allowing yourself the space to imagine and dream.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That is
desire.
really what desire. That's really what
Yeah.
that question is about. It's just a way to like stop and create some space for yourself, put on a nice playlist, get your favorite drink, like make it nice, make it cozy, make it fun, not a plan, just like an exploration to get curious about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I will wrap up saying that if you really love Pia's voice and you want more encouragement from her, go sign up for her newsletter. And I love, one of the things I love most about your newsletter is I always finish reading it and I have this clear, beautiful image in my mind because your descriptors are so wonderful. Like go get a warm, cozy drink and go light up whatever, like, and all your metaphors are just so like, oh, I can all see it all in my mind. And so it's such so much, it's great inspiration. I mean, the idea of being on somebody's newsletter is because you get inspired, right? If you want some inspiration, Pia's your gal.
Thanks.
Saying, yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. And if you want to go even deeper, you can give the audiobook that I narrated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And your voice is so powerful. I love
Thank
that.
you.
That's so great. Thanks for being with us here on Beautiful Work, Beautiful Life.
Thanks for having me. I feel like we could have just talked for hours, which is
Absolutely.
always an indication of not only a deep connection, but a wonderful conversation. So thank you for creating the conditions for that.
You bet. You bet. And thanks for being with us out there and sitting at our kitchen table is how I like to think of it. Just chatting together and having a great conversation about your beautiful work, your inner life, and all the good stuff. So we'll be back for more. Bye, Pia. Thanks again.
Bye, Laurel. Thanks for having me.
You bet.